Well, this has probably been running a while now. Oh yeah, 25 seconds you've been looking at me, staring at the screen. Happy day, everybody. Thanks for watching. This is Auntie Tommy Jane. Um, I'm real toasted. I'm fading fast. I don't know what I'm gonna upload tonight. I got a wonderful video in my camera right now of a Mitakanji brother chanting on the sidewalk on 4th Avenue. But I wanted to talk about what I believe to be the best practices for interacting between transgender people and cisgender people. And, I'm intersexed. I'm about as half and half as you possibly can get. I'm so totally cross-wired, it's crazy. And I have I have medical proof of all this, or I will once we run all the diagnostics. But so far, everything's like matching up with what I feel inside of me is really what's going on. As far as my brain is wired for female, but my gonads are wired for male, which causes all kinds of weird things happen inside my body. I have real bad allergies. That coughing is not because my lungs are trash. It's because my trachea and bronchi are yeah, right here and here, all the way up to here, are always fighting dust and pollen and histamine reactions. So that's what all that coughing is, and it's exacerbated by stone cutting with and polishing without a mask and cigarette smoking. And there's probably more damage that I've done to this stuff with the stones than I've done with cigarettes, because I've always been careful with cigarettes. I smoke enough to satisfy my nicotine urge and leave it alone. I don't inhale deeply. I don't hold it long. A lot of times it just is between my mouth and my nose and never goes past my glottis. But anyway, to get back to the focus here, um, for many years it wasn't safe to be openly transgender. And so many people live in what's called stealth, where they are presenting as cis men or women, and don't want anybody to know that they're transgender, except the people most close to them. And so one of the things that transgender people should never, ever, 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 ever do is out somebody. If you're at a big thing happening, don't ever out somebody to a stranger until you know whether they're in stealth or not. Don't say, oh yeah, I'm going to introduce you to a transgender person if you don't know that the person is openly transgender. That's like big breach of etiquette. Asking somebody about their genital status, huge breach of etiquette. But when you first come into a social setting that's mixed cis and trans people, and you don't know everybody there, and 3/4 of the people are obviously one or the other, but obviously transgender in some way, gender nonconforming, because that's their presentation. They're obviously not what they're presenting, that their outward social expression of a particular gender is not the one that matches their genitals, but not necessarily. In the toilet wars, there's been a whole lot of masculine-looking cis women who have been jerked up. There was one poor little girl who had just given up her long hair to one of them cancer programs and walked into a Walmart bathroom and got jerked up by some crazy Christian woman just because her hair was too short. And otherwise, she was totally straight. I mean, there's nothing else about her that could possibly make a person think that she was transgender, except that her hair was short. Uh, some poor masculine looking woman, and she wasn't even a trans man, just a masculine looking woman. I don't know if she was even a lesbian or not. It was Kentucky, and I forget, Frankfurt or something like that, Louisville maybe, where some good old boy not only curb stomped her, saying that, oh, if you're gonna be a man, you gotta get beat down like a man. But all the people walking past watched it and kind of cheered him on. So I didn't say anything on this page that I was just on. It's some, I forget, Dignity USA, Transgender Caucus, I think they called it. And I went on their page to invite them to Tough and the caucus, our caucus, and Transgender United Front. Because here I am connecting with other people like me who are kind of independent advocates and activists in their hometowns. And that's what pretty much what the caucus and Transgender United Front are all about. It's like, hey, we're ourselves and we're doing the best we can for as many people as we possibly can in this community. And we're having a hard time with all the lateral hostility and relational bullying, on top of any of the bullshit coming at us from the cis world and all the white privilege, all the white male privileges. Jeez. Boy, I went off on a couple of people about their white male privilege today. And I got one of them on tape, and talking to his supervisor about it. Because she was totally cool. I mean, like, my legal problems are very difficult to even comprehend. And when I'm going like this, with like a bureaucrat, in this case it was a prosecutor who wasn't even assigned in my case, they don't even have the police report. All they have is the citation. They don't have the report yet. And the prosecutor assigned in my case is out of town. But anyway, to try and stay on focus, we're not talking about me. We're talking about transgender people and cisgender people, what they should do to how to get along better. Because, you know, as far as the stealth thing goes, that was last century. It's no longer necessary in most places. You know, many people have like lies built up around their lives that at this point it just isn't realistic to come out and tell the truth because of their position in the community with their job or something like that. Usually it's a job. Because most of the people that don't have, you know, most people are, more people are out than hiding in the circles that I'm in lately. A lot of people don't want to be in public groups yet, but the youngsters, for the most, I mean, some of these groups have 10, 15,000 people in them. Well, I'm sure not all transgender. It could be allies and chasers and stuff. But for the most part, trans people are finding that the more the community gets to know us, the better we're treated overall, the more we're accepted. When they know us as us, rather than what they're learning from the Christian extremists and all those crazy doctors like McHugh and Blanchard and Mayer and Tony Perkins and all these other kind of idiots, and learning from us. Boy, they make them friends fast. You know, I learned a long time ago that it's best not to engage your detractors directly. Turn your back to them and engage the audience that they're trying to defame you to. It's always worked much better for me. You know, don't engage the trolls. You know, some people are just, you know, some people are contradicting you just for the fun of pissing you off. It's not like, you know, people like that, just block them. Just get them away from me. So I feel like, you know, it's better, especially for me being non-operative. And it's a real easy sell for me. Let me run through the whole wrap. First, sex and gender are not wired to each other. One is not dependent on the other. Gender is not dependent on your sex. Your sex is dependent on what kind of gamete your sex organs produce. Is what determines sex, and that's determined by your chromosomes. Now, gender is also determined by your chromosomes, but in the way your brain is structured and functions chemically. There's been real structural differences and chemical differences found between a transgender and a cisgender brain. My brain is clearly chemically doing what a female brain is expected to do, not a male. And my body is not clearly masculine in physique. I mean, outside of male pattern stuff, you know, body hair and facial hair and stuff, and my musculature and skeleton are what they call gender ambiguous, and I'm clearly one or the other. And so it's real easy for people to grasp what I am and get past that quickly and tune into who I am and how, you know, how I'm radiating myself to them. What kind of energy am I projecting to them? So that's what's really important. You know, passing isn't what's important. What's important is to be able to look in the mirror and smile at yourself. Be happy with what you see. To feel comfortable in your own skin. These are the most important things for a person suffering from gender dysphoria. You know, many of us will never pass. I will never, ever, ever, even if I get down to 140 pounds, I'd never totally pass to somebody who was looking for it. So why try? Why, you know, because there's too many telltales with me. And I just couldn't walk out of my boy suit. I had to be one for too long. So it's going to take me a while to just get accustomed to acting like a woman after I suppressed it for so long. But why bother? When I'm open and say, yeah, hey, look, I'm transgender. And I'm not getting no surgery. This is the way I was born. I'm female in the head. I'm male down here. But I'm you know, I can't, please. And they don't. They do. Easily. Nobody gives me any validation arguments. People are able to comprehend what is going on inside me that makes me the way that I am. Phantom pain, phantom limb pain is a real good one for people with transgender or with gender dysphoria to explain what's going on inside themselves. What the doctors have discovered is that our brains are expecting nerve endings that are in different places than they actually are. Is what, you know, that's those waves, that awful disjuncted feeling, is that your brain is reaching out to either a penis or a vagina and finding a vagina or a penis there instead. And that's what's maddening about dysphoria, is the mismatch between our brains and our gonads. To compound that, the chemistry is all wrong, because the brain is kicking out peptide hormones that are giving instructions to the gonads, and the gonads are kicking out the wrong kind of hormones back at it, which screws up your adrenals and everything else. I have horrible other problems, allergies. Well, when my bladder or sphincter wants to let go, I get maybe a few second warning sometime. You know, I mean, it's been warning me that it's about ready to do it, but when it has to do it, it does it. Bam! Just lets go, and I can't hold it or nothing. Just bam! Either one of them. And that's all hormones. That's all hormone control, all out of whack. So, to get back on focus is the more we are open and upfront about ourselves, about our societies understanding us and accepting us. They're having a tough time with the genital modifications. But non-operative people, you know, even all the way out to, it's easier for people to accept a drag queen or cross-dresser's way of life than a transsexual for people. You know, anybody who does not live with what they were born with is not something that a earth creature is gonna be able to relate to easily. I don't know what else to say about that. It's just not. You know, I spent many years looking for. No, I didn't. Spirit always told me. Spirit always promised to fix me. But I still did the research because I wanted to know, and you know, what if Spirit's like tricking me and not going to really do it? You know, so I always wanted to know, and it just is not I mean, I can understand the need, but I just can't do it for myself. And you know, I'm happy to unequivocally support these people in their need, you know, in making it accessible to them and protecting them from, you know, really ugly trans misogyny. Um, but I feel like this is, you know, the people who do that are in the minority, and are dictating some things that are not exactly right for all of us. You know, it only fits them. Um, and so to get back to it, you know, asking about genital status is a total no-no. But I feel like, from my own experience, and this is important because no transgender person can really effectively speak for anybody but themselves and their closest friends who have told them what they want them to say. Other than that, everybody's different. But from my own perspective, it's been much easier for me to be totally upfront and say, hey, look, this is the way I was born, no surgeries. And get it out of the way quick. Certainly, it's very bad and risky. And I get in trouble. Gosh, you're victim shaming. Well, I really think that if, you know, from my experience with men over the years and how they get when they are, like, their penises are engorged and there's, like, someone ready and willing to get it. And what a terrific letdown it is for them to discover that there's a penis there and not a vagina, and you know, while they're getting ready to mount that, and it leads to murder and beatings, and it's just not good practice. I got in trouble with some people over that several times, particularly when it comes to the Transpannic defense, which I feel, though it's a valid defense to mount to demonstrate a lack of premeditation, and that's it. That's all. It's like, oh, I freaked out and lost it. And all it's good for is breaking it down from premeditated to involuntary. That's all it's good for. It is not something that should be allowed to acquit anybody. It should be very specific. That if they can mount a decent Transpannic defense, it's about the same as temporary insanity. I didn't expect it. It came at me. I freaked out. I did it. And it should be good for no more than just to break it down from premeditated. That's all it should be good for. Nothing else. So that's my feeling on that. Is, you know, I feel like the more we expose up front, the less we have to argue about all this shit as it comes up later. You know, we get all these things on the table up front. And for cis people, when you come into an environment that has transgender people in it, or there's somebody in the crowd that don't look quite, well, I'm not sure, is that a man or is that a woman? The most polite way to breach the subject is, like, after they, you know, hi, I'm so and so. If you're still wondering after you've met this person, it's okay to say, well, I can't tell whether you're male or female, and would like to know what your preferences are and how people relate to you. I think it's the best way to approach it for cis people. And don't ask stupid questions. Let the person tell them about you, about themselves. And, you know, do you get personal with, like, cis people that you meet? Because, you know, a lot of folks will ask some pretty personal questions that are not normally asked of cis people because they're cis and we're trans, and they want to know how we do it, and They want to know what's, you know, if we're gonna get our genitals rearranged and all sorts of silly shit that, especially from the ones that are influenced by pornography and sex workers. It's like, I think a lot of them expect us all to be like total sex monsters. And because of my hormone imbalances, I wouldn't exactly call myself a satyr. It's certainly not nowhere near as priapistic as Bill Clinton, but we really was pretty wanna and pretty insistent about it for a long time. And really now that I mean, you know, if somebody was like wanting me to use it for what it was built to do, it wouldn't take much to get him erect, even though I've been on hormones for a year and a half. Why did I go there when I was trying to be serious? And I'm already up to 21 minutes. And I think I pretty much covered it. No, it's like, don't make assumptions, don't make statements about somebody. Let people define themselves, and then respect that. And that goes on both sides of it, cis or trans people. If you're not sure, lay back until the right moment and ask what the person's preferences are. Preferably directly to the person and not somebody on the side who might not give you accurate information. So on that note, that's where I want to leave it. And thanks for watching this. Happy day. Bye.